Can I just say before this starts, this video really was a bit of a hard one to get into because I must have recorded 5 different Ruby videos this week, and 3 of them I honestly tried to start off as just pure criticism from a neutral point of view, but it's like the longer the video goes on, you dive into the madness of things that are wrong with this show, and with me especially, you, the anger starts to pop up from emotional frustration. And it was just like, goes from that to I just don't give a shit, and I delete the video. Also, being in Australia, the internet upload speed is friggin' horrible. If we want to upload a decent 20-minute video, you might as well just leave the upload on overnight while you're sleeping. Good, anywhere between 6 to 8 hours, let it upload. It's complete pain in the ass. Um, But with all those type of videos, Adele Acker, iffy on what he does with his videos. Sometimes it's criticism, other times it's memeing. He's got a certain reputation in the fandom. I follow him. I find him entertaining half the time. He did a video where he was handling past theories, and it is an interesting thing to point out. I actually did one back for I think Volume 5 or Volume 6. That was before I got banned from Ruby Amino. I was actually talking to people on the Amino and getting their predictions as well. I included their predictions in my video. Um, at any point, I thought instead of doing a past theories video, this kind of gave me inspiration to do a theories video going forward. And one thing I quickly discovered, and I think it's because one, the show's story and lore is messy. It's spaced out over the show, the comics, the books. It's everywhere, so it's making theories a bit of a pain in the ass. And also as the show's gone on for a long period of time, the longer it goes on, the less and less theories you can kind of come up with. This is just for Ruby. Other shows they can keep you guessing all the way up to the end with heaps of theories, but Ruby's pretty straight knit and one path type thing. So thinking up theories actually was quite challenging. 3 of them I came up with quite easily, but the last two I was just like this is going to be harder than I thought. Um, but it's kind of a positive thing to come up with theories. They're fun and interesting. Some can be what you want, other things can be what you just think the writers are going to do. And that's where we're going to start the video now. So I just want to establish thanks to Adele Arca for actually inspiring this video, and why there haven't been other uploads recently. Number one, this is a huge want from me since they brought her character back. I call it Neo's revenge, and basically, I feel very sorry for a lot of Neo fans because if you've seen the commentary, um, of the show, the creators, they don't really think very highly of Neo because the way it came across was in the commentary. Was it Volume 5? No, it's Volume 6 commentary. Why they basically thought, how do we make Cinder more interesting? Let's bring Neo back. So Neo was really only brought into the show to make Cinder kind of interesting, and in all honesty, it kind of hurt her character because it's just like, who is Neo? What's her motivation? She's just following Cinder. She's gone from being Torchwick's bitch to being Cinder's bitch. So Neo's revenge theory is basically, I want everyone, like, if you go back to like Volume 2, the train fight, and you go to like Volume 3 on the aircraft carrier, Neo's got this thing, and the fans know it. She's a psychopath. She's got these psychopathic tendencies. Like you see when she's going to kill Yang, she's enjoying it. Huge smile on the face. When she's going after to stab Ruby, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking get. And now she has more motivation to kill Ruby. And I thought, let's combine that with her stealth and ability to change herself, but let's make it even more personal. So this can go two ways in this theory. It's either Neo disguises herself as Yang and stabs Ruby, kind of like stabs her, and then you see her eyes change color, and then it all fades away to Neo. And that's the more motivated one that I'm leaning towards. It'd be a big, like, if there is in Volume A, if the theories or what they've leaked is true, that Yang and Ruby are gonna have an argument or a fight, this is the perfect opportunity for Neo to just come in while they're separated and stab Ruby. The other one is she could uh, disguise herself as Blake and stab Yang. And the only reason I can think of why she might want to stab Yang is to basically finish off what she did back in Volume 2. And it's like, hey, I tried to finish you off then, you got your ass saved, now I'm coming back to kill your ass. But I'm really leaning towards the Yang and Ruby one. And I think it would be kind of like the end of her revenge arc to actually get at Ruby, which will give her something to do rather than just be Cinder's errand girl. Speaking of Cinder, Theory 2, Cinder is Cinderella. Now, that's canon in terms of who she's inspired by. And this one, as well as the next theory, both have conflict in it. And basically, where I'm going with this is if Salem is the wicked stepmother, then ideally, and they've if you've noticed in the show with like Robin's character, with Penny's character, whoever these characters are inspired by, they're diving deep into the stories they're inspired by. Whereas like Ruby and Yang, there is no friggin' wolf, there is no bloody grandma, there isn't some bloody three bears, there's none of that crap. It's very loosely inspired, but lately they've dived in. I don't know if that's because they can't come up with anything original, so they're just relying on the core context. But if that's really what they're going for and just going deep into the core of the inspiration, Cinder will be the one to defeat Salem. And the other two things before we get to the conflict is, well, she's currently in possession of the lamp, which means if she figures out how to activate Jin and question Jin, she might get, like, she could ask her how do you defeat Salem, and she could actually tell Cinder. That could be the big plot twist. She's like, oh, this is how you do it. You're the one that's destined to do it. That will bring destiny and fate into the whole theme, which was tied to Pyrrha. And she is a maiden. Now, this is a bit weird. This isn't a conflict. It's just maidens in term of Ruby right now have two source material. It's either the story that they told Pyrrha, which is four random women showed up to Ozpin when he was living in the middle of nowhere, and he just bestowed power upon him. Or the maidens are Salem and Ozpin's daughters for some reason that are reincarnating, or their powers reincarnating. Like, I don't know which one's canon at this point. Um, but if she's a maiden, I think from my perspective on what I'm guessing, and this ties into Theory 3, I think the maidens are the only ones that can actually hurt Salem in terms of actual power, just because they have magic resources that Salem does. I said hurt, not kill. and that's where the conflict comes into it. I think Salem's going to be redeemed at the end, at the very end, after her defeat or something, or she's just tired or goes friggin' crazy. Um, we'll get to that. That's the final theory. Theory 3. Silver Eyes will not work on Salem, and there's conflict in this one as well, as I stated. This is just tied to the Summer, what we learnt Volume 7, the fact that Summer encountered Salem. We know that they encountered each other because Summer spoke to Salem. And Salem survived it. Makes it hard to believe that if Summer encountered Salem, and she most likely did use her silver eyes, because if she didn't, like, honestly, if they write it into the story where we get this small flashback where Summer encounters Salem and she does not use her silver eyes on her, you're just gonna be like, what the fuck? This is some dumb shit. So the idea that Summer used her silver eyes on it and it just did nothing, didn't affect her at all, is just like, shit. What if that information never got back to, like, Crow or Ozpin? What if she died there and they recovered her body, but they didn't get the information, or Silver Eyes don't work? Now, why is this conflicted? Why would Salem be hunting the Silver-Eyed Warriors and killing them off unless they were a threat? So if Silver Eyes do damage to Salem, I'm just going to be like... Someone, just on an off-topic, on a bit of a critique off-topic, someone actually pointed out, in terms of world building for this show, the Silver-Eyed Warriors as a bloodline, because we know that the Silver Eyes are a genetic hand-me-down, the children most likely inherit the Silver Eyes. These children should have been treated like friggin' celebrities in the friggin' world, because they are potentially the most badass huntsmen in society. They should have been treated as goddamn celebrities. It's like you show up in an academy and you got silver eyes. You're like, if you're a guy, oh yeah, guy or girl, it doesn't matter your sex. It's just like you're a celebrity. People are gonna buy shit for you. You're gonna have everything come easily. It's just kind of weird that society's forgot about them. Um, Number 4. This is a personal one, and I really hate to say this because this is gonna come across negative. A lot of Mantle, because like I don't know what Mantle citizens are called. And because Atlas Atlesians, Mantle Malterians, I don't know. But a lot of Mantle and Atlesians will survive. Like, I'm talking a lot. Why is this a theory? Personally, I don't think Kruby have the balls to show two cities of civilians and military permanently dying. I don't think they have the balls to pull it off, and I don't think they have the animation to pull it off. And this is where I'm, like, extremely torn, because I do believe Salem is going to get the Staff of Creation. She's going to extract it. This all ties into the thing of Penny either being hacked and accessing the vault, or just dying after accessing the vault. But basically, that staff gets removed and Atlas falls. There's no way to hold up that city. It's stated that the city's powered by the staff. So the city falls, and you're pretty much thinking, oh, that's the Elysian's dead. And I just got this really weird feeling that in order to not animate a lot of large fights and just an all-out war between the Grimm and the Elysian military, I can really, and I know this is a huge theory because this is tying into a lot of other stuff, I see Salem just outright manipulating Ironwood. Just being like, you get Penny back, you access the vault, you give me the staff that I want, and I won't take the staff until you evacuate the people. You get all your civilians, you get your military, you get them on transports, and you fuck off. I take out the staff, I get what I want. Your people are safe, they're the most important. You know that type of mentality bullshit? I don't get it. Because Salem's like friggin' immortal, she just reses every time she dies. But I really think if they do that, if they rely on Ironwood and the military to get like Penny back and everything, if they go through that, they don't have to animate like lots of grim fighting. There's no huge grim Elysian friggin' battle. They can just be all floating in the friggin' air, and it's just minor skirmishes of Team Ruby Jr. and that fighting off some grim on their way back to Atlas. I'm really scared that's gonna what they do, because after the whole cliffhanger of Volume 7, if they really do go for this bullshit, this is just gonna be a piece of shit volume. It's clear that the studio in general doesn't have the capabilities to deliver a large scale threat. I mean, even if you go back to Beacon, you only saw the small skirmishes over the place. You never saw huge shit going on. So that's just my predicament. I think, because ideally I think the Mantle civilians are going to survive. Because they're the victims. The Elysians are the assholes. That's what the show's telling us. It's like, it doesn't matter, even if you're a nice person who lives on Atlas, just being an Elysian, you're an asshole. It's because that's how the leftist mentality works. Everyone gets put in groups. If you're an Elysian, you're an asshole. If you're from Mantle, you got a victim friggin' complex. And I don't think they have the balls to kill the Mantle people, so all of them are gonna friggin' survive somehow. And if they are gonna survive, they're gonna need the help of the Elysian military. And the show doesn't have the balls in general to friggin' kill any of these people. So it's that's not a good theory or prediction, whatever you want to call it. But I honestly think it's something we're gonna see, most likely than not. And this one's a writing style. This is how a lot of shows take Naruto and their series, because it's just something that people comprehend and understand. It's humanity will be united, which was the mission that the God of Light gave Ozma, through Salem being the common enemy. They're going to come out public. By the time the series gets back to Beacon, after Atlas, after Vacuo, when they get back to Beacon, the whole world is going to be fully aware that Salem's the big baddie, and all of humanity, all of the faunus on Remnant, they're going to unite against Salem. They're going to be united against this common foe. And towards the end of the battle, when everything's at its peak, I'd say it's like building up to a crescendo. The gods are going to get summoned. All four relics are going to get combined. Whether Salem does it, whether someone else does it, it doesn't friggin' matter. But the gods return to Remnant, and they realize that all of humanity, all the faunus are united together in arms against Salem, and they're just going to be like, you did it. You created peace. Everyone's getting along, and if Salem reveals that this is some long-term plan that she friggin' had all along, that's her redemption, and she passes away into the afterlife with Ozma, and they live happily ever after. And the gods come back to Earth. They said they're going to live amongst Earth. They might give magic back to people. Honestly, I think that's the end of Ruby. I don't know if Salem planned it all, but it's going to be the common enemy trope for uniting everyone. Beyond that, that's my theories and predictions video. So jump in the comments section, go nuts. I encourage it.